I lied to land my first job. So right straight out of school, when I was interviewing, I graduated into the peak of the pandemic, peak of COVID pandemic. This was literally times where companies like Amazon, Facebook, Google were doing mass layoffs and all startups were stopped hiring. They were like slowly unable to secure funding. The market was not good for a software engineer to graduate at this time. So this was about a month or two in, I started applying. I didn't hear back from anything. In the second month of applying, things started snowballing and I started getting interview requests. And one of the interviews, I literally aced, I aced the first round of interview, like completely aced it. I knew the exact answer to the 3 questions they had. I even told them, I know the answer to the first one, I know the answer to the second one. I even knew the answer to the third one, but I lied about it because I didn't want them to think I'm bluffing. So I did the third question, breezed through it, and they were like so impressed. And also the experience that I had building my own startup in the past, they said that they needed that experience to build, take their infrastructure to the cloud because they were doing a lot of work manually. And I was like, okay, yeah, I can help you with that. And so they gave me the offer. So here is how I basically bullshitted myself into this job.
Don't bullshit me. Bullshit. Bullshit. Bullshit.
First of all, the infrastructure that I built for my startup, it was barely functioning. It was like absolutely the biggest pile of dog shit code I've ever written in my life.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
And I barely scraped things together. I was watching a lot of YouTube videos on boilerplate stuff, piecing together these and using boilerplate CLI tools to create boilerplate infrastructure. And things were barely functioning. A lot of the algorithms and systems in place were done manually. So the software that I built was food delivery and we needed to do routing. And the routing was handled manually. So we had a dashboard where I would literally link the driver to the restaurant to the customer manually. And I would do that using some sort of software called Route For Me, which you just type in 3 or 4 addresses and it'll find an intersection for you and it'll give you the best path. Like a lot of logistics companies use it to manage their truck management systems. So yeah, none of this was implemented in code. But obviously I'm not gonna say that on the interview. I literally told them, yeah, I built this algorithm for this routing system. I did, the infrastructure was scaling, it could handle 1 million people.
Oh, don't lie. Oh, don't lie.
If we got 1 million people using the app, I guarantee you the app would crash. I lied through my teeth about that. Like,
you're fucked.
Obviously, I followed some best practices. I followed microservice architecture. I used DynamoDB, which is a NoSQL database that scales to millions. I used the right tools, but I did not use the indexing properly. A lot of my queries were actually scans in the database. There was no error reporting. There was no error handling. If we got increased volume in routing, that would require me to quickly handle those routes as fast as possible. And if we get 1 million users, that shit ain't scaling. I'm sorry, I don't have 50 hands and I don't have 50 brains.
Pussy.
That I can go and quickly like route stuff. We were actually planning to hire a VA from some offshore country to handle the routing stuff, pay them like $3 or $4 an hour, and their whole job would literally be taking an input, putting it into Route For Me, and providing an output.
Pussy.
And Route For Me had an API, but again, at this point there were 2 problems. The API cost close to like $2,000 a month. That was the first issue. And the second issue was I never implemented an API up until now. Literally, I haven't. I don't know how to implement APIs. Even the Stripe implementation that we had to collect payments was literally all boilerplate UI components that we just hosted on a site, and we would just redirect them to the site. They would pay their information, and then we would redirect them back. I didn't really integrate with the Stripe API.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
But again, I didn't say any of this on the interview. I straight up like made up BS saying, yeah, I've used the Stripe API, integrated payments, had to implement webhooks, blah, blah, blah. I knew exactly what I needed to say.
I don't think so.
But I didn't actually do a lot of those things.
Ha! I knew it!
And so they gave me the offer, and this was like the funniest lie. This was like, yeah, it was the funniest. Well, it wasn't really a lie, it's a bending of the truth. I told them I have competing offers right now, and I'm like in the final steps of a couple other companies.
Don't bullshit me. Bullshit. Bullshit. Bullshit.
And the money that they offered me, which was 80 grand and 10K shares, and I think 3-week vacation. It's like, it's not competitive.
Has asked for more. For more!
I did not have any other offer. I did not have any other like final round of interviewing going. Actually, maybe I did. I don't remember. But I definitely did not have any other offer, and none of the other offers were like more than that. They were actually relatively similar.
Ha! I knew it.
The moment I said that, I got a call because I obviously emailed them, and the director of engineering straight up said, we're gonna offer you 85K, we're gonna offer you 25,000 shares, and we're gonna offer you 4-week vacation if you accept now or by today. And that was an offer I couldn't refuse. You have to understand, peak of pandemic, I'm literally unemployed, I'm still living with my parents, like, I don't even need the money, to be honest, but I just wanted to start my job and start my career.
You're a pushy little bastard, ain't you?
So I took it, and honestly, even though in the interview process I did BS a lot, a lot of the things that I said I could do, I actually was able to do by Googling, by learning, by understanding, by not feeling like an imposter, by not worrying and being scared. I just went in, learned the shit, and did it. And they never knew. Absolutely, I mean, if they were watching this video, they might know now.
You snotty little bastard.
But at the time, they just never knew, and they never needed to know. And honestly, a lot of it is you just gotta, they're risking their money and time, and so they don't want to invest in somebody who doesn't have the necessary skills or expertise. So oftentimes, they will go for the person who can talk the talk, because a lot of times people who can talk the talk can eventually learn how to walk the walk. That's not always true, but most of the time, somebody who has enough expertise and skills to be able to finesse their way into things usually can figure stuff out after. So having soft skills is just as important as having technical and hard skills.
That's exactly the answer I wanted.
So that's all I wanted to share today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.